right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with John Burr, world traveler. John, how's it going?
Oh, life's got me in the chokehold.
You've
Being
been
dragged across the court slowly.
You've been jumping. Yeah, life has grabbed you by the neck and slowly dragged you away from the conflict. No, you've been crossing this country, and how much are you allowed to talk about? Because it seems like a good story.
We'll save it for a croissant question.
All right, we'll save it for a croissant question. All right, so
you've been something for the Patreon list.
There you go, Patreon only exclusives on what John's been up to. But anyways, yeah, you had to unexpectedly go cross country this week, so we're recording on a Friday, not super normal for us, but let's do it, man. Let's talk about the wildness of the NBA in the past basically 8 or 9 days. Before we get there, of course, let's talk about our breakfasts. John, in your very busy schedule, did you find time to do your morning routine and go and get some breakfast?
Had to do it to him. Woke up super early today, but because my partner she's training for a marathon, I could not go and do my diner experience. Just took care of the kid. And then as soon as I dropped her off, though, straight to McGaw's.
Nothing
only 2 donuts today. That's what qualifies as dieting in my world. Just 2 donuts.
Yeah, nothing like hitting up the donuts after your partner's been training for a marathon.
Oh, shout outs in the chat on your attire today. Little Pedro the Lion.
Oh, my attire? Yeah, I'm wearing one of my hipster
We haven't talked about what we're
uniforms.
wearing since Chuck's been on the show. No love for the Yellow Magic Orchestra. Where are my real hipsters at?
That's too deep cut. I'm wearing a here's the thing. Here's how much I've been a slave to the algorithms. I've been looking for any pattern. There may be none. I've been looking for any pattern on like YouTube views on videos. And I feel like I might have noticed if I wear a colored shirt, a blue shirt, a red shirt, maybe people click on it more than when I wear my normal uniform, which is a heather gray shirt or a darker heather gray t-shirt.
Is this real?
I don't know. So I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll wear this light blue shirt. Maybe more people will click. Like I could talk about things that are in like the zeitgeist, or I could talk about the Nuggets all the time or Victor Wembanyama, and maybe like
my Spotify algorithm.
Yeah, maybe juice the algorithms,
sleep sounds, and,
or if I just talked about LeBron James or Devin Booker, like maybe just talking about the mainstream things would juice the algorithm. I'm like, what if I just wore a blue shirt? So that's my plan.
I think you're supposed to like make a picture of yourself making the most insane face possible in front of a blue screen. I think
I have not solved surely the thumbnails are going to change at some point where I sort of do them. I don't like doing them. It takes too much time. I'm not good at it. It takes me too much time to do it. And they look awful. And it's like, I can't even do the thing that looks especially awful where it's like Mr. Beast in front of a thing. We're like whatever,
man.
I buried 50 kindergartners in my backyard.
Yeah. Mr. Beast is the one thing in the world where I need like a trigger warning that he's going to come up because he plunges me into despair.
Yeah. Has Mr. Beast dropped his Charlotte Hornets jersey sponsorship over the Miles Bridges imminent debut on Friday night?
Can we make a motion to kick out in your fantasy league? If you're the commissioner, can you just kick out the person who kept Miles Bridges or picked him up?
So like I'm playing in several fantasy leagues. I have not rostered him. I'm not going to, but I don't know. It's weird when you have to play these fantasy sports and like you're like, hey guys, Deshaun Watson no longer a problem, out for the season in the NFL. But like, oh, so you're the guy who drafted Deshaun Watson? I'm not in. No, it's funny. So like we don't like to get into like the actual darknesses of the world, of the universe. I like to keep it light, fluffy, enjoyable. But I will just briefly skate over the Miles Bridges universe. One, the Hornets, unprovoked, just released a public statement, a PR statement that said, like, we are comfortable with Miles Bridges playing. That was basically the whole statement. She's like,
sometimes you just don't say anything, Jack.
yeah, don't say anything, dude. And then Miles Bridges explicitly said, I'm just trying to win some games. And I feel like if I win some games, my public perception will change.
Oh,
so he literally explicitly said, like, yeah, no, I'm not. Well, I mean, I assume my lawyer says I can't be contrite. But he's like, no forms of apology, just says if I win some games, they'll like me more. Steve Clifford basically said the same thing. I mean, it's weird. Like, I am very sickly curious about the fan reception. Like, he's going to get booed hardcore by home fans for a while. But like, how long does that last? I think so. I think it's going to be a awkward thing when he checks in.
If he hits one game winning shot, I think all will be forgiven.
Probably so. My breakfast, some fried eggs, although maybe they were scrambled. At what point does a fried egg become a scrambled egg? How much jostling, tossing, breaking can happen before the fried egg becomes scrambled?
In my experience, as soon as the yolk is broken,
the
transmogrification begins, because that's when I hurriedly and without some self disdain start scrambling the egg that I didn't want to scramble.
Yeah. So are you always like an over easy for your fried egg? You got to maintain that.
This is very embarrassing.
Beautiful yolk.
I can't do fried eggs. I don't know how to do it.
I barely know how to do anything. I basically have just learned.
I am over easy, or over medium. If I get the feeling that over medium can be achieved at the restaurant I'm at, I'll do it. But that's pretty rare.
I will say this is the one thing. I mean, I don't know how to cook anything. I can make an over easy fried egg. I can make a scrambled egg. I can make is it called over hard? If you go all the way, I can do that. Yeah. I don't know how to do a medium without burning the rest of it, you know?
Well, neither do most Waffle House chefs.
How dare
Darius Window with an important volley from the chat. Who gets more home crowd booze this season, Miles Bridges or Jake LaRavia?
No one is booing Faith LaRavia. That is only an online hardcore Grizzlies fan.
Which Grizzly are you closest to booing at this point?
Which Grizzlies player most likely to be booed is a fun question.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know none of them were, I think, raised to the level of ire.
I think the answer's in the name. I think Zaire Williams
might
be there.
Ooh, Zaire. Honestly, I think hear me out. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. has the most likelihood of getting booed.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
If Jaren commits a dumb foul and goes like 3 for 15 again, a couple more games, and the Grizzlies are like 2 and 14, Jaren will get booed.
If we see Jaren Jackson, like he did against Anthony Davis, roll over on his back and give up his belly again to another player.
Well, I would say just Jaren. Also, this is a thing where like there's online NBA fan consumers, the people who we interact with, the people who listen to Fastbreak Breakfast or who listen to Zach Lowe or whoever else. And then there's the people actually going to the games that don't always overlap. And I think the people actually going to the games are still probably in the majority thinking Jaren should stop shooting 3-pointers. And so I could certainly imagine if the Grizzlies keep sinking to the bottom of the standings or stay at the bottom of the standings and Jaren misses several 3-pointers in a row and they're down 20 to whoever, Jaren, I think, could receive the ire more than Zaire Williams. I didn't say it quite right. I
was going to save this for my worst, but like,
yeah.
What kind of alternate universe am I living in where not only are the Lakers by far the best team, but Anthony Davis is like a warlord who like savagely stalks the court, taking lives and women from people's families, you know, so hear the lamentations of the women, see them driven before him. Like that's the world I'm living in, where they are like a 3-point fireballing team. This
lets me know
humongous like warlord.
This lets me know in your very, very busy week of travel and events that you obviously weren't allowed to watch the NBA on Wednesday night, because on Tuesday night you saw the Grizzlies get annihilated.
So that was the type of game that even had I not been traveling, that is mandatory. No more basketball this week.
But I'm saying the Lakers aren't the best team in the NBA. That's an absurd statement. Yeah. But also the game after Anthony Davis humiliated Jaren Jackson Jr. for all 24 minutes they both played. Yeah. He had like 6 blocks and 5 assists. I think it was 19 points, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks, 5 assists. And the Grizzlies, lost by 30. The next night, Domantas Sabonis obliterated Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was useless. Sabonis is like he's like posting him up and Anthony Davis is like can't score. Lakers are getting creamed, and I'm like, this team just killed us. I know it's back to back. All right, hey, we softened them up a little bit.
There is not a more rock paper scissors type player than Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
I mean, because he will just be like, that guy is unbeatable, and then it's like Steven Adams just punked Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah. Anyways, it was rough. Where are we at? Oh, breakfasts. Yeah, I talked about my eggs. We don't know when the fried egg becomes a scrambled egg.
At birth. Just before it crosses the
I just think however the egg identifies.
Yeah.
It's up to the egg to make that choice.
Yeah. Who are you to put this?
Those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we move to our breakfast in bed. Apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong in a previous episode. It's frequently the first time we talk about the NBA, although we've had some NBA sprinkled in here and there all the way through so far. John, is there anything in the universe that you would like to make right?
Well, you can't really bring up Domantas Sabonis without bringing up his forever Wookiee life debt trade partner, Trey Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton. That's why I struck in there.
Sorry. Yeah, I was really in there.
It's like, wow, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about right now?
With Trey Burke.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I haven't thought of Trey Burke in years, and there he was.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, who had a streak where he had 3 games or 2 games or 3 games with over 30 assists and no turnovers.
Yeah.
And the Pacers, are frisky as all get out. So I won't say that I slandered him, but I do think if he's going to put up stats like this and end up the best point guard in the league, it doesn't matter if the Kings make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. I'll have to eat my pie on that trade. But it's just been really we're gonna talk about this later, but it has been really wild to see how impactful young guards are in today's NBA as opposed to what the life cycle that we are used to as Mike Conley fans,
or the Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, it takes 4 years. The Chauncey Billups,
the gestation
takes 4 to 7 years to become any good.
Or now it's AJ Black's probably just rendering Markelle Fultz moot.
Anthony
weird
Black.
stuff. Weird stuff. What'd I say this time?
I don't know, AJ Black? I don't know. Does he go by maybe he goes by AJ. I don't know the rookies that well yet.
Right. I did at Alabama, I thought.
Okay. Scoot Henderson's on the 5-year plan, maybe.
Yes. But he got there before the punchline.
Oh, sorry. Oh, man. No, I don't think you have to apologize. We've gone back and forth over this Kings Pacers thing. It is literally the trade that just worked out.
Yeah, it really
just worked out.
It really is.
Pacers are the.
What can we find one of these for the Grizzlies, please?
No, they don't make trades that work out.
Yeah,
they make bad trades. Look at most all of them. I guess you could argue, and actually in the Grits and Grinds Slack channel, which is a sub Slack of the Fastbreak Breakfast Slack channel, there was a little bit of a debate over the Steven Adams, Jonas Valanciunas, Zaire Williams, Trey Murphy the third.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now, who knows? Maybe that could have been an equal. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about the Pacers more though, because the Pacers currently the best NBA offense of all time, just slightly ahead of last year's Domantas Sabonis Kings team. So yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff over there. Also, the Pacers are so fun because just the scoring is just all spread out. There's some. Did we talk about that? They're
we've had box scores where they had 80 points at halftime and no one had like over
Yeah,
7
yeah, yeah.
points.
Like
And then they end
Halliburton,
with, yeah.
there's some games where like they have 80 and Halliburton has like 4 points and 6 assists. And then there's another game where they have 70 and he has 26 and 13 in the first half or something. And you're like, yeah, they're kind of fun. My apology. I guess I have to do this. It's not a factual error this time. I'm going to apologize, I guess, for poking fun at the Miami Heat basketball court. I thought it was cringe level branding.
Did you find out that quote was from like Mother Teresa or something?
No. It's the very simple fact that since like they have these Heat culture jerseys, and I've long been outspoken that if your jersey has anything but your team name or your city, not in. Don't like it.
What about just the Los?
Yeah, Los. How about a CLT? How about a PHX? No, I'm out. I don't like it. Okay. But since they wrote on their court that we were the hardest working team, we're the nastiest team, no one's gonna out whatever hustle us. They haven't lost a game.
Yeah.
And so maybe
Tyler Hero got hurt.
Well, there is a correlation, I think. Now that Tyler Hero's out and they're once again amazing, like last year, like no Tyler Hero, all of a sudden Caleb Martin becomes an all-star.
Now it's Jaime Jaquez.
Well, like Jaime Jaquez, one, he's good.
Jaime Jaquez Junior.
Two, now Duncan Robinson is amazing.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, he like Duncan's been good, and then he lost his powers, and now they're back.
Marcus Smart had a week where the former defensive player of the year, had his ankles broken by Duncan Robinson, and then his ankles literally broken by Austin Reeves.
Oh yeah, actual broken. Yeah, poor Marcus
he
Smart.
Got shook so bad it broke him.
We're supposed to get an injury report on Marcus Smart sometime today.
I don't believe it.
Buckle up for the weeks of no Marcus Smart.
If he doesn't come back from this injury with blue hair, what are we even doing?
So the Heat, I thought if I'm an opponent and I'm a professional basketball player,
you're not.
Yeah, and I see that on the court, that feels like it's like not even bulletin board material. They've taken the bulletin board material and just placed it in the middle of the court. Yeah. And I don't know how you couldn't get up to play them, but maybe this is just what the Heat needed. The Heat needed this standard that's saying, here's the standard of excellence you have to live up to, and it's been working for them. So my mistake. I apologize. Good job, Heat. Way to know your culture and know how to properly apply it.
It's like the Notre Dame play like a champion Rudy thing, only it's instead of Charles S. Dutton, it's Udonis Haslem.
Yeah. Anyways, clapping. Those were our apologies.
Leather glove clapping. It's always a really good.
Before we get to our steak and eggs best thing, just a word from Underdog Fantasy. If you want to play some daily fantasy against me, against John, against other Fastbreak Breakfast listeners, you can do that on Underdog Fantasy. It's my favorite part about Underdog Fantasy, just that you can do these private single night drafts, low really stakes, fun. Super
especially when
fun.
There's like 2 games.
Oh, the 2 game last night, I took Duncan Robinson with my 5th pick. Bang, money. But if you want to get involved with that, it's a great time to sign up. You use that promo code FBBF and Underdog Fantasy will match your opening deposit up to $500. Also, if you live in Tennessee like I do, we're now allowed to play the higher or lower things. So if you want to take Jaren Jackson Jr. lower than 19.5 points or lower than 1.5 blocks, well, you can do it now. And when you do the higher or lowers, you can pair those together. They start to really add up to big winning. So if you want to play fantasy sports for a little bit of money, if you want to do it and get your opening deposit matched up to $500, great time to sign up. Use that promo code FBBF or the link in this episode's description. Steak and eggs, best thing. John, what's the best thing you saw in the last week?
Well, there's like 10 of them.
Oh, give me 8.
Well, they're all players and they're all rookies.
Ooh, I love this.
I've just we alluded to it earlier. I mean, it's really more than 10. It's like 15 dudes that like I'm very interested in and I think are good, and they're all rookies and none of them are Scoot Henderson. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say that Victor Wembanyama has been supplanted.
I like how you corrected.
Damn.
You changed it to the wrong version. Keep going. Don't worry about it.
Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he's obviously like the guy, but like All-Star Thompson's right there. Chet's right there. Like, we've got legit studs at the rookie position, like all the way down to, you know, guys that I did not expect to be talking about, like Cason Wallace.
Cason Wallace like had that one good. His first summer league game was really good, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, the Thunder did it again. And then I was like, whatever. The rest of his summer league games were kind of whatever. He did nothing, and now he's in the league, and he's actually like, no, he's amazing.
Yeah,
that guy rules.
We've already talked about Jaime Jaquez. Like I'm not kidding. Scoot Henderson is not in the top 10 rookies thus far. That's how good.
Well, it's just because I mean, he obviously got hurt, but he was terrible when he played. Just terrible. We assume he's going to get better. Like, how about Koulibaly?
Yeah.
He's actually like, I might have rostered him in 2 fantasy leagues out of desperation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was more schedule related, but no, Asar Thompson, this was going to be, I might do it right now. This is my kudos to me.
Okay.
So
he's so good that I'm just assuming that Amin Thompson is at least 75% this good, and I'm trading for him sight unseen in fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
I'm like, he has to be, although this has never worked with like Horace and Harvey Grant or any brother combo in the history of the NBA, certainly not with like Dominique Wilkins' fat brother, Gerald, but I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to trade for Amin Thompson too. And I kind of assume that they accidentally took Amin Thompson in the draft, so they want to get rid of him anyways. So it's a perfect, it's like an exaltation for us both.
It's scary how similar you and I play fantasy basketball.
Well, I've been doing this a long time.
I know, but I'm like, well, I gotta get Amin Thompson on my team, even if he's out. Because like, what if he turns into part of what Asar's doing? No, at Summer League, the guy I think maybe the most impressed by was Asar Thompson. And I'm like, this guy, I said he's like Sean Marion if he could dribble, if Sean Marion could actually dribble. And like, the guy's unbelievable. He's gonna give us a 5x5 game. The guy rebounds. I mean, his offensive rebounding numbers are out of this world. And oh my goodness, like I love him. And I don't know, like the Pistons. Have you seen this since trading for James Wiseman? The Pistons have won 4 games.
Well,
they're 4-30. I think it's their 4-34 since last year's trade deadline.
But have you seen Marcus Sasser?
But awesome. That's the flip side, and that's what we've been talking about before. When I look at the Pistons, and I'm like, man, they have Asar Thompson, Marcus Sasser, and Jalen Duren. Those guys are.
Hey, and this is a lesson to the Grizzlies. There's a way to lose every game and still be fun. What the Grizzlies are doing is not fun.
They've got I want the Pistons to be healthy so badly. Like just give them Bojan and Alec Burks, and maybe it'll be okay. I mean,
we're gonna have to talk about Jordan Hawkins soon.
Jordan Hawkins is another guy.
Is an absurd Keontae George. Seems like a thing.
Although I do think, John, there's a sweet spot in the NBA viewing calendar, and it might be right now. It might be 1 month into the season. We kind of get super excited over the moon. I have
11 rookies on my fantasy rosters.
About rookies.
And I'm winning. Maybe I'm not.
They're good. I'm actually, no, let's see. You didn't even mention Chet Holmgren, who's like, top 30, top 40 NBA player. It seems like maybe top 40, but still, like, he's awesome.
Carmina Burana for the Portland Trailblazers.
You didn't mind
Kamara.
You didn't mention we are comfortable with him playing Brandon Miller.
Dude, Brandon Miller rules.
Brandon Miller's really, really good.
Yeah, Brandon Miller rules.
Derek Lively has been good.
That might be a Luka thing, but he has been good. Undeniable energy. He's long.
Well, you think about Luka and his heliocentric style of basketball play, and you're like, all they need are some shooters and just a lob guy.
Yeah.
And like, they've been trying to get lob guys. And the whole time it's like, well, I guess we're going to play Dwight Powell, because turns out nobody's better than Dwight Powell. And they finally, Lively,
better than Dwight Powell,
raised the banner.
Yeah.
No, so far it's been a really impressive rookie class.
I bought 2K, and like my starting lineup is just a bunch of rookies, and it's really fun. And it's got me, I have probably watched more Wembanyama than any non-Grizzlies player this year. And I've set my DVR to record their games, and it hasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is usually when I get my Wembanyama game, I also get to see another stellar rookie. I have like a 50-50 chance of seeing another stellar rookie on the opposing squad. It's frankly outrageous. I know this has been a best thing before in the history of the show.
Yeah.
I think this is the most absurd the rookie class has been over the course of our show.
Interesting.
I know there's been a higher like top 3 before, maybe.
I mean, we had John and Zion the same. Yeah. Those were good rookie seasons.
And we had
until the world stopped because of COVID.
We had Trey, Luka, and of course Marvin Bagley. We had Trey, Luka, Ayton, and Jaren Jackson Jr., which is the only one I could think of that I thought kind of rivaled this one. But I'm not sure if I think the stickiness of the 10 guys, and I really do think there's like 10 good ones. Like we don't know about Anthony Black,
Podziemski,
sure, but maybe 26 points the other night.
Did he? Yeah, I saw he had a lot.
I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on. Like Marcus Sasser only thrust into duty because of injury. Essentially,
I can't get why they just don't like. Well, they just don't play him.
Marcus Sasser is one of those guys where you feel a vast disconnect between if you follow college basketball and like the pro GMs, because you're just like, that dude was ridiculous. I mean, front runner for Naismith most of the year.
He's the kind of guy, and of course it's small sample size, and I've only seen him play like 5 games ever in his whole life. But like the way he just gets to that like mid-range jumper and makes them all, man, maybe his game is better suited to like the year 2000 or the year 1995. But in 1995, he would have had a 14-year career and would have averaged, like 15 points per game, and like that's maybe putting it, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting carried away now. Anyways, I'll do my best thing. Here's my best thing, John. It's not just me gleefully cheering on Draymond Green's suspension, which is where I found myself as a basketball fan now. I am like,
how the combo of that.
I'm rooting for justice.
The Grizzlies game just completely end your evening.
No, I was blown away by Draymond's actions. I thought it was hilarious that Steve Kerr changed his tune on Thursday. Did you see this?
Yeah, I mean,
Steve Kerr released a tweet or a statement that was like, Draymond went over the line. Violence is not the answer. It was a dangerous play. What were you going to say? Smacked up? I think we're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed like a backroom talking to. That was like at a casino when it's like they bring in the cheater's justice. And they like smash his, look what they did to my hand, man. I think they had like, Mike Brown in there with a bloody hand screaming to Steve to save himself. And it's like, are you going to come back here? Are you going to cheat again? And then, he just, Steve walks out and gives that presser because he was indignant before.
It seemed like it, although I was talking with the Roundball.
Draymond's behavior.
I was on Roundball Rock. I think the episode's maybe out now. I'm not sure. We talked about this a lot. They were saying that Steve Kerr, I thought Steve Kerr post-game was way too just like blindly defending my players no matter what. And they were saying, no, he just kind of, he skirted responsibility by saying like, I didn't see it that well. Yeah.
Those guys are mentally ill Warriors fans.
No, they're the most level-headed. They were also like not defending Draymond's
player is Draymond.
No. Joey's favorite player is Anthony Randolph. I know that for a fact. But no, it was funny. And then we have to mention the online commentary or the broadcast commentary where Bob Fitzgerald was just like, he was not saying what was happening on the screen. That part was hilarious to me, where he's like, like Rudy's got Clay around the neck. No, he doesn't. Oh, Draymond comes in like a big brother, just telling him to chill out. And they're like, no. That's like, he's trying to choke him out. So all that was amazing and funny. And I am like, I am at least somewhat sated that he got 5 games. That seemed like, I thought, appropriate. But my favorite part of this is the angle that a lot of people have uncovered that Rudy Gobert highlighted after the game, something I hadn't noticed, that I guess no one had really noticed. My best thing is that Draymond throws himself out of these Steph games, that he's gotten thrown out of like 10% of all games that Steph Curry doesn't play. And that is hilarious to me.
Rudy's tweet storm had a lot of show me the lie energy.
I mean, so Rudy, it was all post-game press conference. This was like Rudy's greatest moment. This was like Rudy, like,
man, Rudy's
finally playing. Not only is he playing with confidence, he like stood up to his own personal bully, and he like called him a clown, and he was saying like, "Oh yeah, it's not surprising. I knew he was going to get thrown out." Also, it was a big moment for Rudy. But this whole Draymond,
this is a sea change in how Draymond is perceived, and it feels that way a little bit to me because he is a clown.
Well, we're seeing what happens. Not that the Warriors are like super bullies, but we're seeing what happens when the bully kind of loses its powers. Yeah. And like Draymond's not as good anymore, and Klay Thompson is bad. And it's like, maybe CP3 still has it, but like
about to find out.
Yeah.
Curry's out.
The weirdest thing with the Warriors for me is what's up with Andrew Wiggins. Like, was 2022 Andrew Wiggins just its own unique thing?
That was an anomaly.
I was literally like thinking about like, so Andrew,
I think you're answering your own question. I think Andrew Wiggins comes there, is rejuvenated by being around these great players. Probably Draymond has a lot to do with that. Now he's played with Draymond for years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being around that braying ass for years?
So, you're saying the workplace culture has ruined Wiggins?
I mean, that's how I would be. I can't be around anyone like that for long sustained periods of time. That would drag you down. I mean, I just quit. But I just think. I think Dubs, like that whole Dubs universe is broken. Listen to Steve Kerr talk.
Yeah,
they don't live in the real world. they live in some, like for all our faults. Like, I think as Grizzlies fans, we have come to grips with the reality.
Yeah.
But the Warriors people, they don't. If you watch a Taylor Jenkins press conference, that's a man who's accepted his fate. Steve Kerr has not accepted his fate.
Yeah, I mean, Steph's injured now.
Yeah,
and Steph's been amazing.
Yeah,
and they're kind of spiraling. And yeah, maybe you're right. Wiggins now no longer hustles, rebounds, or defends.
No,
and also can't shoot anymore. Maybe because he just doesn't like where he works. Maybe you're saying he's a reclamation project for somebody else.
I don't know how you can miss a player like Jordan Poole, who's doing nothing for the Wizards, but it seems like they miss Jordan Poole.
I mean, if you took out that one season of Andrew Wiggins,
yeah, because
like Andrew Wiggins on the Timberwolves was, that guy doesn't play the right way. That guy doesn't have it. He doesn't have the dog in him. He just wants to shoot mid-range shots. He doesn't help you win. Even when he scores, he's not helping you win. And then all of a sudden, then you take out the year that, oh my goodness, Andrew Wiggins is an elite offensive rebounder. He's an elite defender. He's the perfect glue guy, the perfect connective piece for this title team. That was just like the weirdest. Like, where did that come from? So maybe that's just the outlier. Who knows? Those were our best things. The opposite of our steak and eggs best thing is the cream of wheat worst thing. John, what's your worst thing? Don't make it Grizzlies.
We've sort of already gone into my worst in a variety of ways. So I'm going to snatch one from the ether. And I don't really feel like I just don't really think I'm ready for the Groundhog's Day Chicago Bulls trade scenario stuff.
Oh,
like, it's just it's too much for me. I can't, I've lost the capacity to care about where these players are going and if they're worth trading for, and would Zach LaVine be a good third or fourth guy, et cetera, et cetera. Like, these are not fruitful conversations for me.
So this actually ties really closely. I mean, basically my worst was going to be Bulls. So this is
okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No, the overlap is fine. We can emphasize it. How would you rank the following players if considering cost of acquisition?
Okay.
So we're going to do it not just pure ignore contracts, just who like you're picking at the park, whoever wants to win a game. I'm saying when you weigh in the cost of acquisition, how would you rank the following players as far as
so
how
we
much you
are
want them?
paying attention to?
We are paying attention to their salaries and to what they got traded for or what it might cost to trade for them. How do you rank James Harden, Bradley Beal, and Zach LaVine?
Yeah, this is
pregnant pause.
Just a hellraiser. This is a wow. I guess I would have. Whose contract is worse between LaVine and Beals? Beals
is still the worst because of the no trade aspect of it.
I guess you would say LaVine 1.
LaVine 1, okay.
Beal right. 2, Harden 3.
Interesting. I would have put
Harden's contract is not good, and
Harden's contract is nothing because they haven't. He's not extended, right?
Oh, that's right, because he was supposed to get extended, and then they were cheating and had agreed on one off the record.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen. Okay, but I
Daryl
still
Morey's
think
a liar.
Harden is third because of all the strings attached. The cosmic.
I just think it's funny when I think about like the Suns who finally got to play with when Devin Booker and KD play, they're going to be good. We knew this last year when KD and Devin Booker played, they were going to be good. My big thesis on the Suns making a terrible move to get Bradley Beal is like they didn't change their ceiling, and they gave up everything they had remaining in the trade bucket to get good Eric Gordon. And it's like, why would you do that? But also when you look at it in retrospect, where it's like, well, wouldn't you have rather gotten I would have rather gotten James Harden if I were the Suns. I think at the very least, I mean, I don't know if him and KD can have a reunion if they could handle that.
I don't know. I think James Harden almost made Kawhi Leonard quit basketball.
That could be true too.
Maybe 5 games.
maybe James Harden, just kills your locker room, kills your team. It was funny.
Say what you will of the quarrels of Zach LaVine, I don't think he has nuked any teams by his mere presence yet.
So I was like, a few games ago, I remember tweeting that all right, the Clippers were, I can't remember who the Clippers were losing to, but I was just I just said something like good trade. And I had a Clippers person be like, hey, the Clippers are plus 15 with James Harden in the game. And I wanted to reply, but
great
didn't.
Stat, kid.
No, but I wanted to reply with are you familiar with the concept of cancer? He destroys the host. Okay. He destroys the host.
Look at these Sixers without him. They're in remission.
But also, I kind of feel like if you went to the Suns and you're like, hey, you could give up multiple first round swaps and all your second round picks. If I did that, I might rather have James Harden.
I guess you can excise the cancer easier.
But also you could have gotten, I believe the price for Zach LaVine right now is going to be less. Zach LaVine, I think, is better than Bradley Beal, although Bradley Beal's theoretically a better playmaker. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, Zach LaVine has a host of 40 points, no assist games. So yes,
he knows what he does. Yeah. He knows his lane.
I mean, what's funny about this question is the answer is none. Yeah. I don't want to rank these players. I don't even want to rank DeMar DeRozan.
I think good franchises don't get these players. I don't think.
Mundo. I mean,
but that actually wasn't my best thing, John. We can come back. We can come back to Zach LaVine trade destinations because there aren't any. It's the same thing where it's when you go back to in the offseason and it was free agent rankings. Who's the top free agent? 1, Kyrie Irving. False. No one wants him. One team wants him. Second, it's James Harden. False. No one wants him. There's not a market for these guys. Anyways, my worst actual thing for the Bulls was just their humiliating loss to the Magic.
Woo!
You lost to the Magic, which is the team you traded multiple first round picks to get good. You traded Wendell Carter Jr., the pick that became Franz Wagner, the pick that became, was it Jet Howard or AJ/Anthony Black? You traded those things to a tanking team, and that tanking team is now past you. The team that was tanking that you traded stuff to left over you in the rebuild cycle. And so that part of it was sad to me, even though like the Bulls had 33 points in the first half. And like,
to be fair, the Magic are hard to score on.
You don't have to tell me about Jalen Suggs and the Orlando Magic's gritty defense. I'm a fan.
They are hard to score on.
But then the Bulls did come back and made it a game. But like this game was so depressing, and the Bulls lose it, and the Bulls stink. And the Bulls apparently are not having a fire sale. I believe they shot out another press release saying our goal was to make the playoffs, and we can still make the playoffs. So like they're running on the treadmill of not mediocrity. They're running on the treadmill of bad. But also specifically this game ended in a horrible fashion where Zach LaVine, who's been awful most of the game, hits a huge clutch three to tie it. Then Paolo Banchero blatantly travels on the game winner. Then there's still a second and a half left. And Patrick Williams, who's been real stinky all year, Patrick Williams dribbles the clock out. It looked like the next step in the evolution of the Kevin Durant, LeBron James protect your field goal percentages. He waited until after the buzzer to shoot the desperation heave in a game they were down 2.
Muscle memory.
I think it was muscle memory. Man, I mean, it probably was just poor benefit of the doubt. It was likely just very terrible game awareness, situational awareness. Like, hey, 1.5 seconds left. That's one dribble and fire. You can't dribble 3 times in 1.5 seconds. So yeah, the Bulls are a nightmare mess. I think that is clearly my worst thing. But by the way, so Zach LaVine, where like Lakers? I mean, what?
I refuse.
Honestly, Magic. Like the Orlando Magic could really use Zach LaVine.
I feel like he'd mess up all the vibes. Don't take the Wagner brothers minutes, please.
You wouldn't do a Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, maybe even give him Jett Howard. Who cares? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I would.
I'm saying if the price is cheap, and I don't know what that price is. I mean, of course, the Magic are not in the position where they should be trading away future firsts. Right. But I would still find out, like, what's the cost? Although it sounds like the cost is going to be high because the Bulls are not tanking or the Bulls are not selling off assets. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is going to be a free agent. DeMar DeRozan is going to go, what? Sixers next year? Which cap space team is getting DeMar DeRozan?
I mean, to me, DeMar DeRozan is like the most interesting piece because I know that he can be a contributor on a good team. You know, I don't, but to me, like what you're saying, none of the trade conversations are realistic to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all just Sturm and Drang and not really, there's nothing behind them. And when this happens, it'll be like the John Collins's before it. It'll be a little off-season whimper. And I don't really want to take up, you know, I know Chicago sports are a big deal, but not this time. Not this time.
What do you make of, have you gotten to see John Collins much on the Jazz?
Only when they stomp the life
only,
out of us.
Only when they're
You mean another team that in my world are unbeatable rebound machines?
The Utah Jazz, who are currently in the lead in West Group A in the in-season tournament with a 2-0 record. No, I feel like Collins has been fine, even though that team is kind of stinky. Here's one more worse thing, John. Have you been following the Kelly Oubre saga?
I was a little worried that we don't have enough information.
No, that's the proper status. There's still not enough information out there. I think the most interesting one is who gave up the ring camera footage. Was it Kelly?
Who gave up the nude Bill Belichick ring camera footage? Where does this stuff?
I'm not even aware of. See, this is how I know I use the internet correctly. Not even aware of this.
Is this an Airbnb owner thing? Is this a nanny cam saga? Like what? Are we hacking these ring cameras? Because I've been nude on mine a few times. I need to take care of some. I need to do some editing.
Yeah, you need to try to figure out how to erase that. Okay, so those were our worst things. Before we get to the awards segment of the program, Let's pull out a couple listener questions. The croissant questioner.
I'm going to start with one that is contains enough genius and bravado that it may take up the entire segment.
Okay.
Drew, rather than inquires, asks us to rank the buffoonishness of Draymond Green's hockey goon behavior, and he gives us 5 different incidents to rank. We'll begin with the LeBron nut chop, followed by the Jordan Poole sucker punch, followed by the Domantas Sabonis chest stomp, followed by the Steven Adams karate kick to the balls, and then our most recent Rudy Gobert chokehold.
All right, I'm gonna need those again.
I
want to get this right.
The top, we're gonna rank them 1 to 5, with 1 being the worst, 5th being the least buffoonish.
We've
got the LeBron nut chop, Jordan Poole sucker punch, the bonus stomp, Rudy choke, Steven Adams nut kick.
All right, I think there's an easy least buffoonish. I think there's an easy 5 last place.
Okay, I think it's the Steven Adams nut kick.
Yeah, I think that one that was still plausible deniability.
Yes.
That was like, all right, not above board, but this is Dylan Brooks does that on a Wednesday, no big deal. Like I don't, yeah, that's an easy last place for me. All right, and we agree on that. Okay.
We agree. I think my number 4 is probably the same as yours, although the fact that it cost them potentially a championship should make it move up. I have the LeBron nut chop next.
I can't be on board there. I think the stakes of that one.
I think that's
raises it.
So then you have the Sabonis chest stomp.
I have the Sabonis chest stomp. Also falls under, if anybody else had done it, maybe you could sort of deny it. But no, it was a clear play. That was one where Warriors fans, I believe in good faith, blinded by their fandom, could be like, no, that's not worth a suspension. He was there. He could have pushed harder. And it's like, oh, you mean he could have killed him? He could have collapsed his sternum like a scene from The Thing. No, like, yeah, that.
And to the Round Ball Rock guys' credit, I remember talking to them after that, and they were so embarrassed.
Yeah, they've been out on Draymond for years. I think Sabonis stomp is 4th just because of the egregious nature of the other one. Like the other ones are. The LeBron play.
Then do you have the LeBron play?
I guess then I have to go LeBron play because it still wasn't a thing you could get charged for a crime,
right?
If you committed it at the YMCA.
It was staggeringly stupid, and I still can't believe we don't hold it against him more that he lost his team. And like Dylan Brooks got shot into the sun for losing a series for his team. And that wasn't even in the finals, Can we take a pause out of this ranking to briefly talk about the Sports Illustrated Dylan Brooks article? Have you read it? It's amazing. Great article. I thought that was a like a local Sports Illustrated thing.
No, that's Chris Mannix.
Wow. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's great. Oh, you got to check it out, John. It's just a great the big hit piece from it, or not the hit piece, like the sound bite, if you will. What do you call that in an article? Like the highlight of the article is Dylan just being like, he thought he should have been more prominently involved on the Grizzlies. This is something we've heard before. He said, well, the Grizzlies had better success when he was a more featured part of the team. And then they asked him all of last year. He said he didn't like it at all last year because they were asking him to not be featured whatsoever. And he feels like they had more success when he was being featured. And so now he's happy that he's where he is in Houston. So
I hope Dylan does well.
Yeah.
I certainly had a lot more fun with a guy like Dylan Brooks, who, while the lows are so low, it is always fun and funny than watching Marcus Smart flop around like a fish for 10 games so far.
I got some angry YouTube comments, John.
Really?
Explaining how Marcus Smart's 6th foul was an idiotic play by Marcus Smart. Just bad process. And then like if you play like Marcus Smart loves referee roulette. You play referee roulette, you're going to lose a lot of the time. Like, just like, hey, make a call. I'm now going to fall over and bring someone down on top of me. Great. You're going to get a whistle. You might not like what you get. Anyways, we can go back to ranking the Draymond Green foolish plays, buffoonery plays. We think the least buffoonish was the Steven Adams nut kick. We get fourth place, the Sabonis. Well, I think did I talk you into it? Fourth place, Sabonis stomp.
Yeah.
Third place, LeBron nut chop in the finals.
Why don't you go first on the next one then? We'll see if we agree.
I guess I'll talk it out because I don't have a firm opinion. Okay. I thought my reaction to the Gobert play was very strong.
Yeah.
Like live, I was like, what's going on? Why is this headlock lasting so long? And then they kept showing worse and worse angles. And I was like, goodness, like he looks like he's trying to injure him, but maybe that was the kayfabe. Like it could have been a little bit of like, Gobert's not like, was he in on it? Like, I wasn't sure if Draymond was actually trying to hurt, because it looked like with how strong he was doing it, he was trying to hurt him.
It was right across the Adam's apple too. Like that had to be really painful.
It looked really dangerous. So there's that aspect of it. Then there's the Jordan Poole punch is just inexcusable. Like, how in the world is that? I feel like I'm leaning the punch going higher.
I have the punch higher because Jordan Poole didn't even have a chance to defend himself.
Yeah, a complete sucker punch.
Rudy and Draymond have been at each other for years.
Yeah.
The fracas has begun. Like there's some history here. And despite it is a chokehold, it is scary and weird, he's at least not like breaking dude's face.
Yeah.
You know, he honestly could have choked him and started punching. He could have done worse. Whereas I don't know if you can do worse than hitting someone as hard as you can in the face while they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
So to me, I
agree.
Not only do I have a clear winner, I also have a theory behind all of them except for the Jordan Poole one. I think that without the advent of instant replay, Draymond Green could get away with all of these except for the Jordan Poole punch, which I think takes his buffoonery out of it. I think without instant replay and everything else, like you can get away with like a quick little stomp to the chest. You can get away with these taps to the nuts. You can get away with in a fracas with a million people choking something. Those are all sneaky things, right?
Yeah.
Sneaky things. Although he's certainly getting more brazen. The Jordan Poole thing is not sneaky. It's just like him being.
Although it was in a closed practice, and Steve Kerr, outraged the video got out. Again,
yeah. And I know that these things happen at practices. I'm saying it was just really violent, and also it was a sucker punch.
Yeah.
And what's the old phrase, like characters who you are when the camera's off? The cameras were supposed to be off during that practice.
I really like this. What if Draymond played in the like 20 years ago when our instant replay or video reviews
Tree Rollins' fingers off?
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think we ranked those very, very well. John, we have time for another question. Why don't you find us another croissant question in there?
All right. We've done enough. Draymond. Okay. Let's get Grizzly. 10 games into the season. How do you feel about the Marcus Smart era in Memphis? That's from Chris Walters. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. You go ahead. I mean, just keep it brief.
It's been, if you had taken the worst case scenario in my head, it would have never reached the pits of despair that I've felt over the course of the first 10 plus games.
Yeah.
Not only are we the worst team in the NBA, Marcus has just been okay at best and is still an embarrassing flopping fool. And now he's hurt, so he can't even help us. So I feel terrible about the first 10 games.
So the Marcus Smart experience, he played really, really well like the first 3 or 4 games. And then it basically was like, hey, you know who's a better point guard for our team? Jacob Gilyard.
Yeah.
Like we just traded 2 first-round picks and Tyus Jones for Marcus Smart under the idea. I think it was it wasn't specifically under the idea that he would be the jaw fill-in during the suspension, because like that stuff happened later or whatever, right? Isn't that but the thought was, I think he's a great fit to replace what Dillon Brooks did. He has not been able at all to replace what Tyus Jones did. Like Tyus Jones gave you 6 assists and half a turnover. Marcus Smart is giving you 6 assists and 4.5 turnovers, and the Grizzlies can't make up for those 4 turnovers.
Even the silver lining of like, hey, if we make the playoffs and Marcus Smart he's a better half court guard than we've ever had, and he can shut down their best guy in the playoffs. Playoffs.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
There's no upside.
I thought a worst case scenario for the Grizzlies was like 9-16, 10-15 while Ja was out.
Hey, credit to Taylor Jenkins. It took him only 10 games to figure out what it took the Celtics half a season, and that's the Marcus Smart is not the answer at point guard for anyone. Anyone. Sorry to our international fans.
Jacob Gilyard, by the way, 10th in the NBA in 3-point percentage.
It's only 9 spots behind Dillon Brooks.
So Jacob Gilyard, 10th in the NBA in 3-point percentage, and the Grizzlies are still the worst team in the NBA. Like all this stuff is like,
it's also not particularly close.
Yeah.
Like we're the worst team in the NBA by like, I don't have any of the hope that like, I think the Pistons fans are probably feeling.
No, the Pistons might be worse. I don't know how the Pistons.
Yeah,
they're so bad.
All those cool players, though.
They got so many cool players.
We point to Ja. They can point to Durham being. The Pistons have never gotten all their guys together.
Yeah, well, the Grizzlies haven't either.
I know, but I'm just saying that our excuse, the Pistons can make that excuse too.
I think the scary stuff. Obviously, no John Morant, Steven Adams, Brandon Clark out for the year, and then Luke Kennard in and out of the lineup. Santi Aldama in the lineup. The big problem is when Jaren,
the most hot and cold nightmare in the league to me right now.
The biggest issue is when Jaren, Desmond, and Marcus Smart all play, they're not good. And that was the thing that was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And they don't get to the line. They can't score. They can't hit 3-pointers. They shoot so many 3-pointers that now, like the new offenses just shoot even more 3-pointers. They don't make them. I think even when the opponents stop making 42% of their threes, they're still not a good team.
Yeah, you don't get to point to that for 12 games.
Yeah,
like it really. When do you think Taylor starts getting fire?
I think Taylor has a free reign.
Really?
I mean,
because he seems crazed to me.
I just think the jaw thing gives him a built-in excuse that you're not gonna like being able to I don't know, not been able to overcome. Let's move on. Those were our listener submitted questions, the croissant questionnaire.
You wanted it, you got it.
If you want your own question to be answered on air or answered as part of the Patreon only Millennial Brunch $500 croissant, you have to become a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. You get access to exclusive bonus content. You get access to the Slack channel over there. You get access to the Underdog Pound, where we communicate when we're playing our underdog drafts so we can play against each other. So if you want to support the show, get involved with the bonus content, have your questions answered on air, do it. Patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. It is now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. John, since it's been 9 days since we recorded, we've got some doozies. The performances backed up a little bit, and we had some great, horrible games that are not even going to make honorable mentions. Like we had, like DeMar DeRozan, 6 for 20. Sorry, not even honorable mention. We have guys that I think would have won in other weeks, like some 3 for 15s, not even honorable mention. But here's what we got. Here's the people we will give an honorable mention to before we get to our 3 final nominees. Klay Thompson, 1 for 10. Emmanuel Come Quickly, 1 for 10. That Klay game, let's be real, it was probably the worst game anyone's played all week, but he didn't take enough shots. Jaren Jackson Jr., 3 for 15. Next game, Jaren Jackson Jr., 3 for 16. Keegan Murray, 4 for 17. Zach LaVine, 5 for 19. And let's do a Donovan Mitchell, 7 for 22. Those were our honorable mentions. Our 3 nominees, as they occurred chronologically over the past 9 days. Dennis Schroeder in a win. A win over the Wizards, was 1 for 12, had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Damian Lillard in a win over the hapless Bulls, was 3 for 17. That's big time. 3 for 17, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 turnovers, 0 personal fouls. Perhaps try. And then Jalen Green in a win over the Nuggets.
Rockets keep winning.
Jalen Green was 1 for 13. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers, 1 personal foul. So, John, Schroeder, 1 for 12, 4 points, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. Dame, 3 for 17, 12 points, 5 assists, 5 turnovers. Jalen Green, 1 for 13, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, no turnovers. What do you think?
Dame, 5 turnovers. That's sauce.
I was leaning Jalen Green because 1 for 13 that's a rarity.
Putrid.
I mean, that's our biggest one for of the season.
Yeah, but he almost like gets a triple double, doesn't he?
He does have abnormal for him 8 rebounds and 5 assists.
Some other things.
No turnovers.
Dame is absolute destruction to his own team.
5 turnovers. Yeah.
14,
all right.
Misses 14 shots and 5 turnovers, and he contributes nothing on defense.
Because I don't want to turn it over to the playback chat to vote. I'm still refusing that. All right. I'll go along with you on Dame.
Keith.
3 for 17, 5 turnovers, no fouls. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
The Bucks kind of stink.
Bucks are putrid.
But I thought it was funny that like Damian Lillard, the time that Giannis doesn't play, then now all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like,
well, he just hasn't found his fit yet, and they really should. I think they're 7-4, and they should not be 7-4. It's taken multiple instances of Dame time, which is what they brought him in for.
It's what you brought him in for
to make this. But I do think like the Bucks. I feel like they're going to get that together.
You just blew my mind by telling me they were 7-4.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I think they're like 4th in the East or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is their bad. Yeah. This is as bad as they'll be, and they're still pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's nothing to worry about.
Well, congratulations, Damian Lillard. Ongoing 3 for 17 from the field and winning this week's International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award. John, do you have a kudos to me? I already did mine. I shot mine early on Asar Thompson actually being Sean Marion with a dribble.
I think we found out that the Mavericks are good.
And you are. Oh yeah, you were all on the Mavericks. You believed in them. I was dubious, and they just keep winning. 9-2.
Okay, let's
for our Dallas Mavericks.
Let's be clear. I shouldn't say the Mavericks are good. I think Luka Doncic is until he dies is in the best NBA player conversation.
Well, all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know who gets the credit. But like Tim Hardaway Jr. is useful again. Excuse me for the Freudian slip. Tim Hardaway is like hitting shots again. And when anyone besides Luka makes shots, and then you got that role threat in Lively, Blake Lively, as Magnus called him in the chat just now. They've been good. I'm not happy with how good the Mavericks are this season. The Nuggets, Mavericks, Timberwolves, believe in all of them, and I think they're solid. I don't necessarily believe in the Dillon Brooks Rockets. Kudos to me. But anyways, John, par fadeaway.
Been a fun ride.
What things we're looking forward to? I'll tell you right now what I'm looking forward to this week. We have the Houston Rockets, 6 straight wins, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. It's an in-season tournament game on Friday night. The Clippers have lost 5 straight games. Russell Westbrook, who understands PR, had it released today that he has requested to come off the bench. I mean, obviously the Clippers, much like Adam Silver told Steve Kerr to publicly condemn Draymond Green's actions. The Clippers are like, hey man, you should say that you requested to come off the bench. because we're bitching you. I'm looking forward to that. What are you looking forward to, John?
Well, outside of the battle of the two sexiest league pass teams, I think this year, outside of the Wembanyama teams, which is be Pacers and Magic play on Saturday. That's fun. And then I think here's two teams that I kind of can't look away from. This is like a sneaky fun game to me. On Monday, I like Kings at Pelicans. For some reason, I just like all of the players on those two teams.
Yeah.
And that's an aesthetically pleasing game to me. I know no defense will be played of any kind. And we'll just get wall to wall, windows to the walls, skeet basketballs. Like this is what I'm here for. I'm trying to find the love again, Keith, because the Grizzlies that loss, which I stopped watching third quarter. At least the tournament gave me I was like, oh, this game, it doesn't matter. I don't need to watch anymore. This is not meaningful. We're done. I'm going to bed.
What do you mean it's not meaningful?
I could tell that the players that if the team doesn't care, I don't need to care. Felt like
why do you think they didn't care? Just because they were getting? I mean, they gave up 22 for 35 3-pointers.
The lineups that were being thrust upon me.
Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart were hurt.
As early as
you texted, John, you texted me that night. You were like, "What is this lineup?" And I just texted back, "You got to play somebody."
Yeah,
you got to put 5 guys out there.
When you get despondent, reason is the first thing to go.
Okay,
so it's just
I'm in a weird if it is
you were born for this.
Yeah, but I'm in a detachment coping mechanism thing where I am experiencing so much joy watching the NBA right now, and it's not my team. I am thank goodness, Friday night, no Grizzlies game.
It's also kind of your job, and it is not in any way my job. So it's
to watch the Grizzlies. Yeah.
It's just
it's bad. It's bad for my career that the Grizzlies are this bad.
Yeah,
it's
terrible. Bad. I considered, I'm trying to battle through this. I'm trying to do what you're doing, and thank goodness for these rookies and all these really cool storylines that we have. Because this would be one where I'd be like, wake me when Ja comes back. This would be that kind of. If I were just a casual Grizzlies fan, I would completely understand anyone who's like, I'm not going to watch this anymore. I don't know how much, I can't give every new Grizzlies player a Jamaican accent to somehow survive this nightmare phase.
Kind of not the best week for Bismack was great in the win against the Clippers. No, also they're unrelated to the Grizzlies. It's just there's so many the teams that I don't like are sort of struggling, like the whole Warriors thing, that Warriors pick.
Schadenfreude is a powerful force,
but that Warriors pick, which we traded for Marcus Smart, might be in the lottery.
God.
That's good for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are getting that pick. The Clippers stink. Their pick goes to the Thunder. There's all these I don't know. There's fun angles there. Also, I'm looking forward to our Bulls Magic rematch. Another a chance for the Bulls to avenge their honor, and it's a win or go home game for the play-in or for the in-season tournament. So
please send me daily reminders of all stakes.
There are a lot of stakes. The Raptors play their first in-season tournament game tonight against the Celtics. Celtics are 1-0 in their group. Raptors obviously, can get involved there. The
big win for the Celtics against the Sixers with a lot. Boston was missing a lot of guys and still handled the Sixers.
Here are the things to look out for tonight in my mind. Sixers Hawks is a very big game. The Sixers have actually lost a game so far in their group. Sixers Hawks is basically for control of East Group A. In my mind,
often that the Hawks, I know everyone and their mother took that over. The Hawks, I know they're only 6'5", but they look impressive to me.
I feel like the problem with the Hawks is they look kind of good, and then you're like, oh, they're 500. That's just what they do. No, Suns Jazz tonight. All right, we're gonna get Devin Booker. We think he's probable. We're gonna get KD. I haven't seen what Bradley Beal's status, but that's a wild Friday night home game in Utah. And Utah, like I said, 2-0 in their group. They could basically eliminate the Suns and set themselves up to advance with a win tonight. Those are the November stakes we've never had before. And I feel like Friday night home games, weird things happen. Like the home teams do a good job on Friday night home games. It's going to be crazy in there.
Keith, you should do little, instead of the everything you need to know about the Grizzlies game.
Yeah.
You should do everything you need to know about the play-in stakes.
Tonight in the play-in. The league needs to be paying me to make that content. I don't know if I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not doing anything else on spec.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want to support our show, do that at patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. If you want to try out Underdog Fantasy, use that promo code FBBF. Please subscribe to the Fast Break Breakfast YouTube channel. If you want to see the blue shirt I am wearing, if you want to see John's slightly haggard travel appearance, that's on YouTube. Also subscribe to the Grits and Grinds YouTube channel. Anyways, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.